It was strange times for Sega going into the new millennium. They had just lost out in the console race as Dreamcast sales dropped, and facing financial ruin, a new chairman was appointed. And by January 2001, Sega announced they were restructuring the company into a third-party developer. As a Sega fan, I felt down but hoped the change in direction would not affect the quality of games. Sonic Adventure and its sequel were great games, and I just hoped my beloved Hedgehog would continue to shine. This journey into the unknown started on the Game Boy Advance. Join me for a whistle-stop tour of every Sonic game on the system. The last time Sonic had found his way onto a handheld console was in 1999, when Sega joined with SNK to produce Sonic Pocket Adventure. This Sonic 2 inspired title showed that Sonic could rock it on a handheld as well as be in safe hands of another developer. The announcement that Sega would start developing handheld games for Nintendo's new Game Boy Advance was a real eye-opener. Sega made the bold move to pass the blue blur to DIMS, a brand new developer made up of ex-SNK and Capcom employees, including SNK legend Takeshi Nishiyama. They were tasked with bringing Sega's mascot to the small screen, and it would be their very first game. Released in December 2002, Sonic Advance was well received by critics, even if it did seem strange to play Sonic on a Nintendo console. You take control of one of four characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles or Amy. Sonic Advance keeps the format of the Mega Drive titles, in that it is 2D and requires you to platform your way through each stage. It is up to you how much you explore, but doing so will uncover more rings and power-ups. The levels are broken down into two acts with the customary Dr. Robotnik battle at the end of the second. You destroy enemies with attacks and your score increases by keeping hold of your rings until the end of the stage. Anyone who has played one of the original titles on the Mega Drive will feel right at home with Sonic Advance. The controls are simple as you jump around and speed round loops. All the characters' moves are intact, including the spin dash, Tails is flying and Knuckles is gliding. Only Amy Rose feels different in that she cannot roll into a ball to attack the enemies. Instead, she uses her giant hammer to whack them, and this also acts as a double jump of sorts, propelling her forward if used in mid-air. As with other Sonic games, finding the special state entrances spread around the levels will give you a chance to capture one of the Chaos Emeralds. Those that manage to get all 7 have a special surprise at the end of Sonic's adventure. The most notable aspect of this 2D revamp is how much the art style reflected the new design route taken for the Dreamcast Adventures games. The anime style character designs by artist Yuji Yukawa had been used since 1998. This made sense as Sega had planned to allow you to connect Advance to their GameCube port of Sonic Adventure 2. Both games were released in Japan on the same day. Similar to moving KOs from your Dreamcast to your VMU, the Game Boy Link cable allows you to move your KOs around when you link both games together. This was a great feature, and Sonic Advance was one of the very first games to take advantage of the link system. Playing Sonic on a Nintendo handheld did take some getting used to. You would think that Sonic and Nintendo are old friends with the release of 2 games and taking full advantage of Nintendo's hardware. But Sonic Advance is a great game and shows the power of the Advance with fast gameplay, excellent use of Mode 7 and a pumping soundtrack. Having that Mega Drive feel in your hand is refreshing, if a little hard work at times keeping up with the speed. It is not all good in Sonic on the Game Boy Advance however. You may find the levels quite easy and the special stages too hard. Some of the bosses are weak, and once you work them out they pose no challenge, but overall this was the perfect introduction for Sonic on his first Nintendo outing. The planning for a second Advance started as soon as the first had launched. Once again, Sega asked DIMS to develop the game, seeing as they had made a great start with their debut game. We got our hands on Sonic Advance 2 in December 2002, and while the premise of blasting through stages was the same, there were a few new features for you to get your head around. The most notable difference is the platforming style. If Sonic Advance was about exploring and keeping your rings, then Advance 2 is about going as fast as you can, trying to keep your momentum going. The emphasis on speed changed how you tackle the game. You do not need to explore so much as items and rings fall neatly into the many paths you can take. You are bombarded with rail sections that allow you to pick up speed, and there are many loops to send you in a spin. The only difference to the character roster is Amy has been left out, making room for series newcomer Cream the Rabbit. She plays much like Tails with a flying ability and has the same spin, dash and attacks as Sonic. This was Cream Sonic's debut, and she also has a little KO friend that she uses as a projectile. All the characters in Sonic Advance 2 have special moves that are similar to their corresponding attacks in the Sonic Adventure games. Knuckles, for example, now has his Drill Claw move, and Sonic can home in on enemies. The additional moves help to break up the gameplay, but they do little to improve it. Another addition for you to play around with are the Midair Stunts. These moves, pulled off after launching off a ramp, help to get to high up secret areas and allow you to uncover them. This is fine, but with the emphasis on speed, it seems a little odd to have areas that require you to pull off a difficult manoeuvre and slow right down. The other change from the original game comes in the form of the special stages. Last time out you had to find the secret spring located in each level, but Sonic Advance 2 takes a different approach. Now you must collect 7 emblems in an act without dying, and you'll be transported to the special stage at the end of the act. This again goes against the idea that the game wants you to blast through the levels. The emblems are stuck in some crazy places that mean you may be searching around for a long time. The special stages themselves are better than the original and feel like the stages from Sonic CD. You find yourself in a pseudo 3D environment and must collect 300 rings in 2 minutes, all the while avoiding one of Robotnik's contraptions. There are a few unlockables for you to work towards. Amy becomes playable after you complete the whole game with the other 4 characters. The KO Garden returns and is similar to the Sonic Advance one. There is also a secret Sonic level and a boss rush mode. Sonic Advance 2 is a solid game, but the extreme speed and having to suddenly stop to explore may be a little too much for some. Sonic Pinball Party was released in June 2003 and was originally an exclusive to Target stores in the USA before gaining a more universal release. Sega once again trusted the blue blur to a third-party developer as Jupiter were brought in to code the game. Jupiter had already worked with Sega on the Sakura Tyson series of games for the Game Boy Color. The second game being notable as the first Sega published game after the company went third-party themselves. Sonic Team also lent a hand in the development, and many of their franchises feature heavily in the game. Sonic Pinball Party features several game modes all set around the basic pinball mechanics of flipping the balls around a table. Story mode uses Sonic as the story's main character as he competes in the Egg Cup tournament at Casinopolis. Sonic needs to rescue his brainwashed friends from Dr. Eggman. There is a simple arcade mode that plays like traditional pinball and a minigame mode where you flip balls into holes to start a roulette or slot machine. The Tiny Cow Garden makes another appearance here with a new minigame mixing elements from Puzzle Bobble and Dr. Mario. The 3 main tables in Sonic Pinball Party feature Sonic, obviously, Nights into Dreams and Samba de Amigo. Each table has its own special events and challenges to help you rack up the highest scores. Just like real pinball, the better you are, the more features you unlock on the table. The visuals are bold and take full advantage of the GBA's large colour palette. There is the odd blurring of the graphics as the balls whiz around, but nothing that spoils the action. The music is a standout feature in Sonic Pinball Party, with many tracks from previous Sonic Team games that will nudge the nostalgia. The game controls well, and you can even shake the table just like a real pinball machine. There will be an obvious comparison to Sonic Spinball on the Mega Drive, but the 2 games could not be more different except the basic pinball idea. Spinball plays more like a platformer with pinball mechanics, whereas Pinball Party is a proper pinball game with some added mini-games to bump up the content. The story mode is short and the mini-games are a bit of a non-event, but those who enjoy pinball will have lots to do racking up high scores in the arcade mode. Sonic Pinball Party is a well-made pinball game with some added features to keep the gameplay fresh. Later on in December 2003, Sonic Battle was released firstly in Japan before being released in America and Europe in early 2004. This was the second time the Sonic franchise was used in a fighting game after Sonic the Fighters was released in arcades during the 90s. The two games are very different though, and Sonic Battle leans more towards an arena fighter like Power Stone than a traditional fighting game. The story centres around Emerald, a mysterious robot who can copy other characters' moves. The further you get in the story mode, the more powerful he becomes through level ups. To upgrade Emerald is a bit of a grind though, and you need to put a lot of time in to power him up enough to beat the game. There is also challenge and multiplayer modes, as well as a few mini games to flesh out the content. There are 10 characters to take control of, and each has their own special moves and strengths. Sonic is unsurprisingly fast and Knuckles super powerful, to give 2 examples. The game is tough, especially towards the end of the story mode, and the AI can be very unforgiving at times. You'll have to jig around with Emerald's stats and moves that are acquired through cards representing another player's moveset. You can mix Sonic's attacks with Rogue's techniques or Tails' flying abilities. The more you level up, the more points can be allocated to having a better moveset overall. Considering the GBA only has 4 action buttons, there is a lot of different moves. You can punch, jump, dash, defend, heal and use special moves. The unique system of holding buttons or combining with a directional control opens up quite a large moveset for each character. Although controls are responsive enough, sometimes they let you down if you're also trying to change direction. The isometric view with 2D sprites does sometimes become confusing, but with a little practice you can master the movements and attacks. At times there are 4 fighters on the screen at once, and this feels overwhelming considering the GBA screen size. It is not a major issue, and you might say it adds to the frenzied nature of the battles though. Visually, Sonic Battle keeps with the adventure game style, though the story does set somewhat outside of it. This game is referenced again in the DS game Sonic Chronicles however, which is a spiritual successor of sorts. The bold and bright pixel art is gorgeous in places, with decent effects and animation. Quite impressive for a Game Boy Advance game with full use of the colours available. The overworld map is a little bland in places, but just serves to mark out where the next battle is, so it doesn't make much difference. The music is decent if unfamiliar for a Sonic title, and the sound effects are a little washed out, but overall Sonic Battle has a great presentation, and it's easy to see why Sonic fans mostly enjoy this one. Sonic Advance 3 was released in June 2004 and was the last game released by Dimps in the main series for the GBA. It takes everything built into the first 2 games and dollops on a lot more. The main new feature is now you must select 2 characters to play the game with. Much like Tails following Sonic around in the original Sonic games on the Mega Drive, but this time you can mix any 2 characters from the roster, so long as they've been unlocked in the main game. As you progress in the story of Sonic and Tails, more characters become available. Sonic Advance 3 has more of an industrial feel to it, with most levels taking place across city skylines. The same fast-paced action has been kept, but now you have 3 whole acts before a boss battle. Another change is the new overworld map, similar to that found in Sonic Adventure. You can move about on platforms to find new levels, and each zone has its own small area. The special stages once again make a return, but this time they are difficult to access. Spread around each zone are 10 KOs that must be found. Once you have found all these, a key appears somewhere in one of the acts that grant access to the special stage for that particular zone. It gets complicated as you reach the later levels. To get all the Chaos Emeralds is hard, and you'll only really want to complete the game fully if you fall in love with it. The game is big, huge level and lots of secrets. Add in all the different character combinations and you could be at this one a while if you want to see everything. The game itself plays well and has lots more stunts and moves to perform. Each combination of characters has its own moveset, from speed bursts to flying power. The one gripe I have with this game personally is that Knuckles has lost his gliding ability and it has been replaced with a diving headbutt move that reminds me of E Honda from Street Fighter 2. I don't like this. Knuckles without his glide or wall climb really lets the game down for me personally, being that he is my favourite character. I just feel Dimps and Sonic Team were trying to add far too much here and seem to have forgotten what Sonic is all about. But enough of my moaning. Sonic Advance 3 is a great game overall, and how the developers have fit so much into one cartridge is astonishing. Sonic Advance 3 has some of the best graphics seen on the Game Boy Advance, colourful and vibrant, big sprites, and as already mentioned, huge levels. The bosses in this entry are also much better than the previous two games. They feel more like traditional Sonic bosses without silly gimmicks. I do feel that if it were not for the issues around Knuckles and the special stages, this would be one of Sonic's greatest ever adventures. It has all the ingredients, but it's just let down by a few niggles. But you should not let this stop you giving this mammoth game a go. It really is fantastic. Two other games we have to mention just to make sure that we're being thorough. Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis was released late in the Game Boy Advance life cycle in November 2006 in North America only. It's a port of the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive, but it's a shame that the screen ratio has been reduced to fit the Game Boy Advance screen. It also features an anniversary mode in which Sonic can use the spin dash, similar to that in Sonic Jam on the Sega Saturn. The problem with this game is the music and sound effects were remade, and they're always out of sync. The game experiences significant lag, and the frame rate is really poor. That being said, there are some interesting facts about this game. It marks the final Sonic game on the Game Boy Advance and is the last Sonic game to use the original victory jingle. It's also the only Sonic game that was exclusive to North America. Also, the debug and level select modes have been removed, but there is an unlockable jukebox. There's also a save feature that saves any zones and acts you've completed, but doesn't save your Chaos Emeralds. It's a real shame that this game has so many flaws, but also some great features. A little bit more work on it and it could have been a great addition to your Sonic collection on the Game Boy Advance. Sonic Spinball appeared in the Sega Smash Pack, which was released in December 2002. It's a direct port of the Mega Drive version, but suffers with the same problems the Sonic 1 port, in that it has a zoomed in screen to fit the aspect ratio of the Game Boy Advance. It's not quite as bad in terms of the choppy frame rate or lag that the Sonic Genesis version has, but it's not a great port overall. Sonic Spinball has all the levels here, but the zoomed in factor makes it hard to see where you're aiming. It's also a little bit choppy and it really doesn't do much justice to the original. So that about wraps things up. I hope you've enjoyed our whistle-stop tour of Sonic's appearances on the Game Boy Advance. It's a real great system for Sonic games, and I've had many hours of playing myself. Make sure you give them a go if you haven't. I've been Retro Faith, thanks for watching, and as always, keep it retro.